Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I am here with a project that I'm sure you're going to love because it involves Hershey's Kisses. And if you know me, you know I work a lot with Hershey's Kisses, and they are so
Good
much
morning,
fun.
everyone. It's
Oops.
Brenda Quintana here,
I'm
and I am here with a project that I'm sure you're going to love because it involves her.
okay. I had playback going, and that was not good. Oh my gosh, I just love it when technology makes you go crazy. So sometimes what happens, like last night, I had technical difficulties. I wanted to get this project posted so that everyone could join in with me, and it wasn't working, and so I had to wait right till before bedtime, and then finally I was able to post it. Good morning, Cindy. I'm glad you joined me. So let me show you the project that we're going to be making. We're going to be making this cute little Christmas tree, and I'm going to see if I can make myself a little larger here. Everything kind of shrank down. Okay. Well, I'm just going to have to deal with my screen as it is today. Oh, maybe this little button will. No, no, that's not going to help me. Sorry, I'm being kind of weirded out because normally I have a bigger view of what you guys are seeing, and I'm not being able to see that as well today. So it's a little harder for me, and I don't want to touch too many things right now because if I do, I might mess things up, and I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna deal. So here is the little Hershey's Christmas tree, or my Hershey's Kiss Christmas tree holder, and it's pretty easy to make. And if you want to make lots of these, I'm going to show you how to make a bunch of these all at the same time so that you can save yourself a lot of time and effort. So these are really cute, and I made them in red and gold, and then I also made a silver one. So I suggest if you're making these, I'm not doing a great job of holding them up, that you make them in different colors, because if you're going to make them in a display, I always recommend 3 different colors. Makes a display look really nice. If you want my project sheet on how to make this so you can print it out and have it right beside you when you make it, make sure you subscribe to my email list. Only for my email list subscribers will you be able to get a project sheet sent to you in the mail. And this one will go out on Saturday. And I have a second project using the same supplies that is mailing out on that same day. So it will be one email with both of those projects for you. So on Saturday that will go out. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, if you need any of the supplies today for my project today, make sure you hop on over to my blog. I have a clickable supply list, and it will have everything that you need to make this project. Okay, I'm going to switch my camera over, and we're going to get started making this. And geez, I just really wish I could see everything that's happening. My screen just drives me crazy. Technology, and then you don't want to click on something and then have it go awry. But I have such a limited view of what you can see right now. Not very pleasant. Okay, so you will need for this project, you will need the pine tree punch. I'm also using the hammered metal embossing folder. If you don't have a die cutting machine and you don't do embossing, you could omit this and just get the pine tree punch. I love the texture though that the hammered metal embossing folder creates. So if you have a die cutting machine, I would definitely suggest getting this embossing folder because it's going to provide the right kind of texture for your tree and give it that little oomph. What else can I say about supplies? I'm also using little pearls, which I'll show you later. So let me grab, you will need your scoring tool as well. So let me grab that. And I have the Simply Scored tool right here. This is by far my favorite scoring tool ever. And I'm going to first show you how to do it if you were going to make one. So you're going to start off with a strip of cardstock that is 4 inches by 7/8 of an inch. And you'll put that 4-inch side up at the top, and you'll score at the 1-inch mark, the 2-inch mark, and the 3-inch mark. Now, some of you might wonder why I'm choosing 7/8, because it's kind of an awkward measurement. 1 inch is a little bit wide for my little tree, so I had to make it just a little bit smaller than that to make it look better. So 7/8, that's why that particular measurement. If you can't deal with 7/8 of an inch, then cut it at 1 inch, but you're going to see more of the triangle in the background then. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to do this one. You're going to fold it inward along all the score lines. You'll take your Tombow. I definitely recommend Tombow because other adhesives might pull apart after a while. So Tombow is kind of the standard for holding things together. And I'm just going to put Tombow on that one end segment, choose one. And then the other end segment comes over top. And you're just going to fold this up and you're going to make a little triangle out of it. Okay? So that's how you make the little triangle. Now, if I'm making a bunch of these, like, why would you make just one of these? Because if you're going to make them, you're going to make a lot. So take a piece of cardstock and cut it down to 4 inches and keep the 11-inch length. So you're going to have a 4-inch by 11-inch piece of cardstock. You'll put the 4-inch side up at the top. Now I'm going to have to stand up. I can't even see all the way down to the bottom. I don't think I can get it all the way into my shot, but we're going to score this piece all the way down. So on the 1-inch mark, all the way down, 2-inch mark, all the way down, and 3-inch all the way down. So you've got 3 score lines coming down that piece. And then you're going to grab your paper trimmer, and we have a new paper trimmer, which I absolutely love. I think this may be the first time I'm actually using it on camera. So you're just going to lift this up, and I suggest we're going to cut these into 7/8 of an inch strips. So use this ruler over here on the right. And so you're just going to go up to 1 inch, and then you're going to go back 2 ticks to the 7/8 inch mark. Okay. So I know we also have centimeters up here, so ignore the centimeters up at the top. You're at the 1-inch mark here, and then pull back 2 ticks, and that will be the 7/8 inch mark. Okay. And then you're going to use your cutting blade. And when you're using this new trimmer, you don't want to press down hard. Think slide and glide. So just slide and glide, and it just is really easy peasy. So there's one strip. We're going to actually cut 3 strips off of here for now. But what you would do is just keep trimming these down. Let's just keep going. I want to show you how much fun this is. So you just keep going, keep cutting, down and down and down. So you're making all these strips at the same time, right? So you've already scored them, and you just keep going right until the bitter end. So you just keep going all the way down to the end, and you're going to have about 1/2 inch left over at the very end. You could have started with a 10.5 by 4-inch piece, but it's, you know, it's just a little piece off at the end. You're never going to use that small little piece. At least most people wouldn't, so no point in cutting it down to begin with. So now I have a whole bunch of pieces, and then all I need to do is fold them along the score lines. And let's make 2 more because I want to show you how to make each of the trees, like the gold, the silver, and the red tree. So one like that, and fold And you can get some little helpers. Like maybe you have your kids get involved in this process and you make a bunch of these for your friends and your neighbors, you know. Or you invite your friends over and they help you make them and they make some for themselves. It could be like a little tree making party. So, and I should mention, out of one sheet of cardstock, you would cut 2 pieces of 4 by 11. So you could get, it will give you 24 of these little strips to make the triangles. Then you're going to need a little bit extra cardstock for our next step. So I've got my little 3-inch pieces. So now you're going to take another sheet of cardstock and cut it in widths of 2 inches. So you could either do it 2 by 11, or as in my case here, I did 2 by 8.5. And then you're going to take the pine tree punch. And we're not going to punch all of the punch. We're just going to make sure this is right at the end. And we're going to just punch and omit the trunk. So punch along and then put the next tree next to it. Give it another punch. And you're going to punch this whole strip like this. And you could keep going, but then afterwards you flip over, and hopefully if I did this right, you can go ahead and punch on the other side and see you're making really good use out of this whole piece, right? Because you've basically used almost every available space. So then we're going to take some scissors because it's very hard to get the trunk flush with the edge. So you just take your scissors and you're just going to trim along the bottom because you just want that flush. We can't use the trunk for this piece, unfortunately. Well, at least not for my design. So you just kind of trim them off like that. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of little trees. And then I want to emboss these with the embossing folder. So, and the nice thing about this, once you've got the trees punched out, you can take, 6 to 8 trees at a time, depending on how you position these guys. So let me bring this in here. I've got my hammered metal embossing folder. So you can position them in different ways. If you do them 2 rows lengthwise, like this, so you do a row on this side and then a row on that side, you could get 8. Or if you wanted to do 6 at a time, you could kind of do this kind of pattern here. Or maybe you could even get 9. Let's see. Yeah, you could get another row and do 9 at a time. So that's kind of nice that you can do many trees at the same time. That also saves you a little bit of time. So I'm just going to tuck those in there, grab my cutting plate, and I'm going to run this through the Big Shot. So I didn't do all the trees that I could do this time, but I did at least some of them. So I got the little trees. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, I knew I was going to hit that with my foot. Okay, so I've got trees. Let me put one of these aside, and we've got our little triangles, and I'm making sure that I actually read my project sheet because I tend to think, oh, I know my project so well, and then I forget to do something in the correct order. So now we're going to glue these on here. So the best way to do that is to put the tombow on to one of the sides of the triangle. Now I'll let you know that you're going to see a little bit of the triangle in the background right up here at the very top 2 corners. You're going to see a little bit, but for the average person, they're not even going to notice it because there's all that texture going on the tree. And if you're choosing the same color for the back triangle as for the front, it's going to be there's not going to be a lot of notice. It does make a difference when you put the tombow on because I'm going to, come on tombow, work with me. I'm not going to put it in those top two corners just because I know that the tree won't be there. And then when I add this to the bottom, I'm just putting it slightly above the bottom, and I'm just going to, the tree isn't symmetrical, so what I want to do is just kind of make sure that the bottom is symmetrical on here. And then because I haven't put the kiss in yet, I can just pinch that down with my fingers. So then I'm going to do this for the other sides. I do leave the double, so this is the doubled over piece where the adhesive was. I always put that to the bottom. I don't know why, but, and it doesn't really matter, truly it doesn't matter, but I just do. It's just a little stickler thing for me. I like to put it towards the bottom. Okay, and then I'll do my other one. So I'm showing you how to make 3 of these at a time, but you know, if you do these assembly line style, you could make even more at the same time. Yep. So there's 2 sides to the embossing folder. I kind of like the one where the it's more embossing rather than debossing, but you can choose which side you want to have show on the front. So they're already looking kind of cute, but now we need to put some stars on here. Right now they look like little pine trees, and now we're going to turn them into Christmas trees. So to do that, I'm going to grab some glimmer paper, and I used gold, silver, and red glimmer paper because it's just so much fun. Here's another punch that I use for this project. This is called the Twinkle Builder Punch. It's got the moon and some stars on here. It's so much fun. So if you don't have a small star punch already, I love, love, love this punch. So for the red one, if you're starting out, and I had a sheet of 12 by 12 glimmer paper, and if you're haven't cut into the piece yet, you don't have a scrap piece like I have for my silver and my gold, I just cut this 1/2 inch wide, and that's perfect for punching out here. So now I can come in from the end. You don't want to come in from here because then you're going to punch stars that you don't want. I want this big star right here, so I want to punch 2 of those. So I'll come in from the side like this and like that. And so that way I'm kind of using the best, or my piece of glimmer paper in the best way. Then I've got some scrap pieces of silver. So now I'm just going to kind of just work this out in the best way that I can. It's easier if you have a 1/2 inch strip, because then you don't tend to punch things out that you don't want to punch out. Okay, let's see. There we go. And then we get the gold. There's always little tiddly bits that are coming out. So let me get gold one here. And then a gold one here. Okay. So it's fairly easy to punch those. So now I'm going to attach them. So I'll just put a little bit of Tombow right at the very top of my tree. I'll take my star, and I'm just going to add it to the top part of the tree. You can kind of look on the back, make sure it looks centered. And I just like to back up the little star with, I don't want to see white on the back, so that's why I do a little red star on the back to back it up. So it looks nice from both sides, looks finished. So I'll do that for all of these. Grab my little silver star. You know, we used to have a mountain called Silver Star. Actually, it still exists. Where you can go skiing in my home province of British Columbia. Silver Star, I love that name. Okay, and then another piece dot of glue on the back. Grab my backup little silver star. Oop. Squeeze those together. Let me see if I can see some of your comments. Good morning, everyone. Oh, and someone finally made it. Yay. Welcome, Debbie. Or Deborah. Yeah, and it's always fun if um, you're mass produced. Now, Cindy asked a question. Any tips for using my thicker emboss folder if I don't have the folder plate? So if you don't have, this is a thicker plate that's Stampin' Up. Actually, we just switched our embossing folders over when we stopped our relationship with Sizzix. And so now our embossing folders are a little thinner. So this embossing plate is a little thicker. So if you don't have that plate, all you really need to do is shim up your folders. So I would take some pieces of cardstock, maybe start with 2 pieces and see how much you need for your machine. I have 3 Big Shot machines and they're all a little bit different. So you will have to kind of calibrate for your machine. But I would cut the shim, which just is, it can be a piece of cardstock. I would cut it the same size as the embossing folder. So 4.5 to 6 1/4. And what you can do is you can just lay them underneath the embossing folder, or you could cut them a little bigger too. You could cut them to the width of your platform. You could cut the shims to like this size as well, or just maybe a little bit shorter, like to 8 by 6. So it just kind of depends, or 8 by 5.5 maybe. Or how about 8.5 by 5.5, and then you just cut a sheet of cardstock in half, and that way you can probably do the other embossing folders as well, although some of them are 6 inches. So then you might actually want to do 6 inches so that you have the shims for all your different sizes. So you might want to do 6 by 8.5, or yeah. It's going to be hard if you do the 6-inch ones to, have the perfect measurements so that you're not like wasting your cardstock, or maybe not using your cardstock in the best possible way. But so just cut sheets of cardstock, and then you just would lay them down, and then put your embossing folder down, and then use your regular cutting plate. It won't be blue. Just use your regular cutting plate on top, and try it with 2. If 2 doesn't work, it will probably be at least 3, but you want to start small and build up, because cardstock is thin, so it will just be a gradual process, and then eventually you'll hit upon that point where once you run it through, you'll check it finally embossed, and then you'll know that's what you need for that particular embossing folder. And if you want to, then write on your embossing folder needs 3 shims with a Sharpie, and that way every single time you run it through, you'll know it needs 3 shims, right? And then that will be easy. Like for me, with the new style embossing folders, I put a blue box around them, so that way I know I have to use it with this blue plate rather than my older ones that are still current, that I use with a regular plate. Okay, sorry, that was just a little aside, a little question about the embossing folder as we're working through. Okay, let me finish this off. I just have my little gold star right here coming through. And we will be getting a new die cutting machine. It probably won't be till the new year. Well, I know it won't be till the new year because we haven't heard anything about it yet, but hopefully next year we will be getting a new die cutting machine, so I'm excited about that. I was excited once our trimmer arrived, and I love it. It works really, really well. Okay, so are already starting to look like little Christmas trees, right? Just the little star makes a difference. Now we're going to use some pearls to add to it. So I've got gold. These are called the metallic pearls, and they come with silver and gold. So you've got your silver tree covered, or silver, you've got your silver and gold tree covered. And then if you want to do your red tree, then just use the regular pearl jewels. And I'm going to do this real quick. I used my cherry cobbler dark, and afterwards I realized my little star is not quite aligned. Afterwards I realized that I probably could have used my real red dark marker too, but I just grabbed my cherry cobbler because I find with the glimmer paper there is a darker element in the glimmer, so I like using the cherry cobbler, but a real red dark Stampin' Blends would work as well. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna do this right now. I'm gonna hit my pearls with that marker, and it's just gonna make them bright red, and I think I'll be able to get away with 6. I'll just let those dry just for a few seconds, and I'll work with my other ones to get the metallic ones. So let's go ahead and start working with these guys. So my pearls shifted a little bit in the shipping process, but they still work. So it's nice that I don't have the kisses in there yet, so I can just kind of go like this. Oh, come here. Do not shift. And I just kind of work my way down, and I zigzag. I used, depending on the tree and what mood I was in, I used about 6 or 7 of these little guys on each tree. And this is easy because it's fast with the little pearls. I don't have to punch out anything, and it's fairly quick just to add those on there. Then I can come in with the silver. My silvers looks like they've slid all over the place, but I'll just grab them. They still stick fine. They just, the backing, I guess, is a little slick, and it's causing them to shift. There's no perfect world, right? Then we have some other ones that are really stuck on there, and they don't want to lift off at all. So, you know, you just make do with what you got. Let's see, put that there, and then maybe one more over here on, oh, okay, you stay here. I'm taking you, and we'll take you and put you over on this side, right here. Okay, so I made them all kind of look a little different. So those are my silver and gold ones. And then we'll do these little red ones over here. Come on. Okay, now you don't want to even come off, right? Okay, so red. Okay, I'm going to move all of these off their little adhesive thing. And now I'm going to slide them on. Come here. All right, I can't have you sticking to my work desk. Now I've got like, okay, last night I was using my piercing tool, because that's what I used for so many years, and I still love my paper piercing tool even though it is retired. And I'm just not used to this newer piece yet, so bear with me as I get muscle memory with this new tool. I'm sure it's going to be a lot easier down the road, but right now it's like, I want my paper piercer back. All right, there we go. See? Don't they look cute? Now we got to get some Hershey's Kisses. And you know me, I get the party bag because when I have an inspiration with Hershey's Kisses, I need to have kisses in my house right away, even though my store is not very far. So I'll just kind of squish down on the tip a little bit, and I insert from the top, and then I roll down to the bottom. Okay, and then I do the same for each of them. Insert top, roll to the bottom. And I like to make sure kind of that white little kisses thing kind of gets tucked in there, because that kind of sometimes looks a little awkward if it's sticking out on the side. And then we just slide in like that. And there are all my little trees. See, that wasn't too bad, right? The time-wise with doing them, and I did stop and talk and troubleshoot along the way, but it didn't take very long to make these. I think these look really good. Now I know they look really, really tiny on my little screen right now, but they would look really nice on a platter. Just a little something for someone to take as they leave your house. They just look really, really cute. So I don't know. I just love these little guys. I hope you do too. Now I need to switch back to this other. Hello again. Let me see if there's any more questions. Okay, so I answered your question, Cindy. Oh, Ruth Isaac said, I've heard you can use the silicone mat. Maybe you can. I don't know. I haven't tried it, so that might be something you could try. Um, okay. Well, thank you so much for all of you that joined me today. Now, remember, if you want this as a project sheet, make sure you're subscribed to my blog. My project sheets will mail out on Saturday. I have, for my customers, if you spend $15 with me, I have other really cool tutorials. Like I have other sizes of Hershey's Christmas trees. I have a little bit bigger one that holds 4. I have different sizes, and those tutorials are free with a purchase of $15. It's per order, so it's $15 or more if you spend with me. Then you can just choose one of my tutorials. I send you an email with a link to where you can choose, and you can go check them out. Right now, my latest one is this. Let me reach over. It's this faux book gift box tutorial. These little guys look like books. You can kind of even see on the side here, they've got like little things that look like page marks. I call them a faux book gift box. And they look like a book, but they can hold a little gift. And that tutorial is available, but you can choose whatever tutorial you want. You don't have to choose my latest tutorial. And then also, if you spend $75 with me this month, I've got, where are they? Reaching down. I've got jingle bells for you. So in December, I will send you out a little package like this of jingle bells from Stampin Up. And that will come in the mail if you spend $75 with me in November. Now, there is another way to get the tutorials for free that I don't always talk about, but if you join my team, and to join my team, all you need to do is get the starter kit. The starter kit is $99, and basically you get to choose $125 worth of product for your starter kit. And then once you're part of my team, then you get all of my tutorials free, even my past ones, and then my current ones. As long as you are a bee stamper on my team, you can get those tutorials for free as well. So it's a little perk of being on my team. Another perk is that you get to attend Stampin' Up! Events, and we have one coming up this weekend. Some of my team will be in Atlanta, and so it's going to be a great time. And so lots of great reasons to get the starter kit, but there is a link below. If you click on the join my team link, it will tell you more about some of the other perks about joining my team. I think that's all I wanted to tell you today. Tomorrow I will be on my way to Atlanta, so this is my last new tutorial for the week. I'll have new ones next week. And look for the project sheets in your inbox on Saturday if you are one of my subscribers. I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and I will see you back here next week. Okay guys, take care. Bye-bye.